Welcome to another edition of Guest Expert Talks, where I interview, or shall I say, I allow my guests to talk about their expertise. And these are people that I have met through the years that help entrepreneurs move their business forward. And I'm thrilled today to have with me someone who has probably been in business about as long as I have, and who I met years ago, and we've kind of been side by side growing our businesses. And so it's so fun for me to introduce Liz M. Raymond, and Liz M. like money. So Liz calls herself a professional business organizer. So she's a business financial literacy and systems expert who works with ambitious entrepreneurs who are solo based, mostly women. But these women have to have a desire. And what is that desire, Liz?
That desire is to get confident with their money.
Right, to take control of their money. I think you and I both have seen over the years a lot of women start businesses and sort of get to a point where they're moving their business forward, things are going well, but there's a part of their business that they've ignored.
Yeah, money scares people. It's really funny. But you know what? Money money is just money. It's that's how you get paid. That's how we get to do things in the community. That's how we get to take care of ourselves. So it's but I totally get it, because part of my journey was, at the beginning, who would know, the money gal had her own money issues. So I get to share my experiences and teach all kinds of stuff, which really excites me.
Yeah, I've noticed that you have a Meetup group, Master Your Money. And
Yes.
I just want to read what it says. It says, make it, track it, grow it, master it. And I went, that's so good, Liz. I love that. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think a lot of entrepreneurs are, they're working on the making it part. The tracking it part, not so much. Would you say that's true?
Absolutely. I'm trying to change that, though.
There you are, one entrepreneur at a time.
Exactly.
Awesome. So, what are the biggest challenges that you see with entrepreneurs and their money? Maybe you can just share some of that with us.
You know what? I think it really starts with they don't know where to start. It's, and the biggest part, it's funny, everybody asks me, what's the juiciest tip that you can give an entrepreneur? And I said, you know what? The very first thing is getting organized. And that's about knowing, what they need to track and how they should track it. And they should figure out what kind of information they want to know. Because as you know, I say, that our financial reports are the story of our business. So do you want that to be fictional, or do you want it to be factual?
I like that.
Yeah.
Fictional or factual?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because if you're just running by the seat of your pants, you just, it's whatever you think that you're seeing. And there's quite often stuff that's happening that isn't quite in your face until you get it written down, right? So, yeah, the biggest thing is being organized, knowing what to track, how to track it, picking some software that will help you. And you know what? This is the biggest, I think, issue with people. They don't know what to use. They hear all kinds of horror stories about different kinds of software. And you know what? Doesn't have to be that way. I love to say that, you just keep it simple successfully. That's my KISS system.
Yeah.
And you know what? And it works. So it's and finding somebody who can show you how to do it. We all, as entrepreneurs, we all start out doing it ourselves,
Yep.
for various reasons. And but you know what? A little bit of an investment at the beginning to know where you need to start, what you need to do, and get trained on it saves you all kinds of time and money for making more money.
Yeah, and let's just talk about a little bit about software, because I think a lot of people think, getting my finances in order is a big thing, and truthfully, it doesn't have to be, right?
No, not at all. Not at all. And again, it depends on the size of your business. There's two software that I recommend. One is Excel for those that are just have smaller businesses. I've created a workbook that works for those sole proprietors that tracks it monthly, populates everything, gives them a pretty financial statement, runs right over to their tax return, their T2125, really easily. And so it does not have to be difficult. And then, of course, those that have bigger businesses that have more to track. As you know, I love QuickBooks.
Yep.
And I've been working with the QuickBooks Online. And it is, I mean, as all software, there's things that they're working on, but I see big progress, and I love it because once it's set up correctly, it can save you a ton of time. It makes things very easy, and once you have your systems and your processes written down, you can get ready to hand it off to somebody else, because once you have that set up and you know how it works and you know how to use it and navigate it, then you know what? You can check in on the bookkeeper or whoever's doing the work to make sure it's done accurately. You can pull reports on a regular basis. So it's not as painful as people think.
Yeah, and I think that's a big thing as that you just hit on is that it's important for the entrepreneurs to understand the systems so that they can check in and they can, I often say they delegate it, but not abdicate it. So they're not abdicating the full responsibility, they're just delegating the work to be done.
Exactly. And you know what? You don't want to abdicate it, because you know what? That's the worst thing. If you are not paying attention, that's when all hell breaks loose.
Right.
And I've done enough cleanup jobs through the years to know that, you know what? If you're not comfortable talking about your money or checking things out, you know what? Get comfortable with it. You know what? I meet entrepreneurs where they're at. It doesn't have to be difficult. You know what? I understand that there are bookkeepers and accountants who talk that accounting gobbledygook that's like goes right over your head. But you know what? Finding somebody who will help you and take you, and it's it's a step-by-step process.
Yeah.
And you know what? You can get it. And people say they don't believe me when I say my entrepreneurs get excited about their money when they finally get to know it, and they do. So you can too. It's just you know what? It's being brave, feeling that fear and going through it, right?
Yeah. And it's funny because most entrepreneurs have gone through other learning curves, right? Whatever, if you are a massage therapist, for instance, you had to go through the learning about becoming a massage therapist. If you're a real estate agent, you had to go through that learning. Well, mastering your money is kind of the same thing, right? You have to learn how to do it, and it's not always comfortable, as we say, but it becomes easier, right?
It does. And you know what? It's not that they have to become an expert bookkeeper, because they don't.
No.
They just need to understand it.
Yeah.
It's and because I know everybody goes, Liz, can you just do it for me? No,
No.
I'm not going to do
Good.
it for you. But it's understanding. First of all, the biggest thing I think is everybody wants to make money, right? So, but if you don't have your regular financial reports and set up in enough detail, doesn't have to be crazy, minuscule pieces, then you know what? You know that, if you're making money regularly, so you can course correct if you're not, or stop doing what's not making you money and do more of what is making you money. And you can't do that at the end of the year when you're doing that tax sprint, trying to get all your money, all your reports ready for tax time. You can't fix that. But if you're doing it regularly and you read your reports and you know how to read them, then you know what? You're good to go.
Yeah. So you also teach people how to read those reports then, I'm guessing.
Oh, absolutely.
Cool.
Absolutely.
So,
I mean, what's the point of getting a report if you don't know how to read it?
Well, and as you know, September is my upcoming event Shift, and we're going to talk about, that's going to be a whole day talking about profit. And I'm so excited that you're going to be one of the speakers there. So profit, a lot of people don't have any profit.
Hmm.
So,
They don't.
right. So tell
And
me
that's
a little
part
bit
of
more about that.
that's part of that fear of, you know what, looking, seeing what's really there. I mean, we all get into business because we have a passion for whatever it is that we've created, whatever we're doing. Um, but you need to make money, and it's like I see people who think, well, if they look at their credit card statements and their bank statements, that they know where they're at. Well, that's kind of okay, but it's not going to help you to figure out, to make, you need to have those, um, put your markups and whatnot and figure out what is all included, because people really don't understand sometimes what costs are involved in their businesses. And so once they get to know that, then they can raise their prices, as you like to tell people. I mean, it's great to cut our costs, but I mean, you know what? It's raise your prices. You bring value to your community, and it's important to be able to do that,
Yeah.
because you want to make sure that, and it's not just making sure you can pay the bills, it's having that little bit of an excess so that you can start doing some things that you really want to do and enjoy to do.
Right. And yeah, I mean, I'm sure you see this all the time. Entrepreneurs not paying themselves sufficiently, a half decent salary, right?
Hmm. Yeah, and that's part of the educational part of it, with building in the taxes that you need to pay. Because I mean, that's fine if you have money left over after you've um, build out the service and paid all your external expenses, but and then had money to pay your rent and all that sort of thing. But if you don't have that excess to pay your taxes, well, you're going to find yourself in trouble.
Yes, as I remember once working with a bookkeeper, and she says, yes, you'll find yourself in CRA jail. And
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
that's no fun. Um, so, not having their finances organized, not paying themselves enough. What other, quick tips could you share that, you see are common, big common mistakes that entrepreneurs are making with their money?
Actually, yeah, and the biggest thing, and it is the organization part of it, and the lack of the knowledge. Um, Spending money continuously, think, and this is something that I fell into a little while, well, a couple years ago, until I finally stopped. We keep thinking we need to continually learn something new and spend money to do all these courses,
Yeah.
and think that you're not good enough or have enough experience or knowledge or whatever, and it can be a vicious circle, and that can be money. I mean, if it's not really going to help you move forward in your business, and you really need to look at it, is it really going to, and really do I need to, then you know what, you're wasting money. um, and it's funny, because I remember the last workshop that I took, I went, man, why am I here? I'm the most experienced entrepreneur here. I know this material and I could teach. It's like, what made me think that I needed to do this?
Yeah.
And so it's being aware of what they already know, and value themselves. Value themselves is a big one.
Yeah, for sure,
Sure.
for sure. I mean,
Yeah.
keeping track of their money, and when they start paying attention to their money, do you find that some of them go, "Oh my God, I'm making more money than I really thought I was"?
Yeah, that, or they go, oh my God, I had no idea I was spending so much money on all that, on a certain category. It's I remember one entrepreneur going, oh my God, I had no idea I spent so much money in advertising. And I went, and are you tracking where your clients are coming from? Do you know if that's, like, does that really give you a return on investment with all, because the amounts of money she was spending was crazy, crazy.
Yeah, and
Um,
if
but yeah,
it's
it's amazing what comes to light when they track it.
yeah, yeah, and not only that, but it helps them make better decisions going forward, right? Like you said, what is their most I'm sure they're able to tell what is their most profitable offering or program or whatever it is, product. And
Hmm.
I find, I remember talking to an entrepreneur who was in my program, and I said, so what is your most profitable, offering? And this person said, well, it was, B. And I said, so let's focus on getting more of B. And he goes, but I'm doing A. And I said, well, why? Like, why? If the most profitable thing is B. So, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes B isn't as easy as A.
Ah,
And I
there
think
we
that's the
are.
other
So we go for
scapegoat
the
that
easy.
I've seen happen, right?
Yeah.
So it's yeah, but it's understanding. Um, I keep on talking about the chart of accounts, and of course, this is the list of all the accounts that you need to create your reports in, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is something where they really need to think, and I mean, and sometimes they really don't even know what they should track, um, even to understand if they're making money, but also um, those overhead expenses and whatnot. And sometimes they group things all together, and then they're really not sure. Um, and they don't compare year to year, which is another thing that I teach them to do, so that they can see what, if their money, the income that they're bringing in is increasing, but are their expenses increasing as well? But also, for example, advertising. Advertising comes in all different kinds of mediums, right? So they have Facebook ads, digital ads, they've got paper, they've got networking events, all that sort of thing. So I really tell people, although advertising was one category, you want to break it down a little bit to see where you're spending your money within that section, right? And I also tell them, it's every networking event that you go to, you want to make sure that you're tracking that fee or whatever in that category, because some people can spend a lot of money in networking where it doesn't bring them anything.
Yeah.
So it's again choosing what's going to put money in your pocket,
That's it.
you know?
That's it.
Hmm.
Friend of mine who inspired me to actually get up early in the morning was telling me that he has a big commercial business, and he was spending, I think it was something like $500 a month to have his business listed on these other websites, where he could be found. And, my question was, is that bringing you anything? And he goes, no. I went, $500 a month, that's in your pocket, right? Like it adds immediately to your profit. So, yeah, looking at
Yeah.
what the results are from that advertising or marketing, it's, some of it we can certainly track. Um, today's websites, that's part of marketing, your business cards, all these things. It's
Hmm.
important to have.
Yeah. And you know what? I really found that when you start asking clients where they found you or heard about you or how they got referred, you know what? Makes a big difference, because I know when I decided to start tracking it, probably about 2 years ago, I guess, finally, because when I actually shifted from the bookkeeping to the training, right, I
Yeah.
really figured I needed to track that, because bookkeeping I found was really easy. Um, I was I'm really good at it. And so that was easy for me to get work. It was just, as soon as I just told somebody I'm looking for work, it was there. Um, but tracking where everybody is coming from was really surprising to me, because I thought, that it was from my website, and I thought it was from different things that I was promoting on and paying for. And lo and behold, it wasn't. Um, you know what? I get tons of referrals. I get stuff from Facebook. People are buying things before I even meet them, just going onto my website. So it's making sure that um, you're visible. I think that's really huge.
Yeah.
Um, and you know what? People don't know that they have so much value to bring, knowledge to share. We don't know what we don't know, and it's funny what I've been learning, and I still get the aha. It's like, okay, well, they didn't know that. As easy as you think that is, not everybody knows that. And I'm going, okay, so you know what? Share it all, because there's going to be somebody who goes, oh, I need to know more about that.
Yeah.
But if you don't put it out there, and you don't have to pay, and actually, this is funny. This is something I go through with a lot of new entrepreneurs. Things that you can do that don't cost money, that can bring tons of attention, and it's not, constantly having to do all this great content and everything else, but it's just, pick a couple groups. I love Facebook. I've got, like, I think 3 groups that I'm in consistently, and then eventually I created my own group. But interact, answer other people's questions, throw a few things out there that show that your expertise and whatnot. And it's amazing how there's a lot of people that just kind of sit back and watch everything and read everything.
Yeah.
But you know what? If you're out there and you're sharing all your experience and expertise, it's amazing how people start finding you really easily. I'm still amazed at how people go, oh, I saw you on such and such about 3 years ago, and I've been following you ever since. And I've never met them, or I've never seen any kind of interaction. Oh, okay, cool. So you just never know.
No, and
you don't have to pay. Yeah. You don't have to be paying for everything.
Exactly. And I know, that's happened to me many, many times. Maybe I'll go to a networking event and I'll meet somebody and they'll go, oh, I know who you are, because they've been watching my Facebook Lives or whatever it happens to be. And I go, but they hadn't clicked, they hadn't liked, they hadn't whatever. They're just following from afar. And so being visible is huge, and it's just about getting out there. But that's another big challenge of entrepreneurs, is, for some people, is to be visible.
And again, that's, it's that feeling that fear and doing it anyway, right? As entrepreneurs, there are so many things we need to learn. And you know what? The behind the scenes stuff is easy because nobody sees if we're making mistakes, right? so I was like, I know, because I used to do it, right?
Yeah. Well,
but I do have to share. I know this is not about bookkeeping or watching your numbers, but whatever. And actually, it is kind of, because you need to getting your, like you said, doing Facebook Lives and getting your knowledge shared out there is good. But there's a little tip that if you're a little nervous about doing Facebook Lives, you can choose who sees it, and to practice, you can click on it instead of going public or private or whatever. You can just do only me, and you can just practice those on your own. Exactly. And nobody else has to see them. And if they work out really well, then you can share them afterwards. And that's kind of where I started, because I did not like video. I did not like my, I was stuttering and stammering and everything else, and I just got practice.
That's it.
Just practice.
It's just like anything
else.
Just
like,
yeah, it's like anything else. The more you do it, the easier it becomes. And, I've been doing these little snippets when I'm out walking the dog. And, I don't know if you noticed, but I've turned the camera around. So I don't have to worry that I don't look good. But, they're just little short things. And, I'm just out there all the time, being visible. And, it's something that entrepreneurs have to do. And this whole behind the scenes thing is, there's so much more to running our businesses, any entrepreneur's business, than I'm sure that most entrepreneurs never imagined when they first started. They have to become good at marketing. They have to become good at being visible. They have to become good at watching their numbers. There's all of this, and it's can be a little overwhelming, for sure.
It can be. I know. I've had my moments of overwhelm, and you know what? I have been doing this for. I keep on hating to say this, over 30 years.
Yeah, I know.
Oh my gosh. But you know what? I still have my moments of overwhelm, but I catch it a lot sooner than I used to, and breathe through it and all that sort of thing, and then go, okay, okay, this is something I need help with, or something I need to give away to do. And that's one thing I want to talk about too, because everybody thinks, well, it's cheaper for me to do this all myself. And what they're not looking at is, okay, so the amount of time that it's taking to do that if you could be making money in that time, is it really worth doing it yourself? Because I remember when I first decided to hire subcontractors to do bookkeeping so that I could do the stuff that I really enjoyed doing. It was like, oh my gosh, I could bill, I paid them this and I could bill them this, and I'm making this kind of money just for having them do that. And I'm going, oh my gosh, and I was making more money on top of that. And I'm going, and that showed through on my financials. And I'm going, oh my gosh, because we're always worried, can't afford it, can't afford it, can't afford it. Well, you can't afford not to.
Right.
So that's another thing that I talk to entrepreneurs about. It's looking at their processes, the amount of time that they're taking, what it is that they can absolutely outsource, where will give them more time to make more money.
Exactly. And I just finished writing a whole series of blogs on delegating. So perfect. And one of the last ones is, you can't afford not to delegate, so that you can spend the time as the CEO of your business, because that's really your job, is to be the CEO of your business. It's not, and do the gift that you have. I could do my bookkeeping. I have a university level accounting course. I could do my bookkeeping. But frig, not only does it take me twice as long, but it frustrates me. So is that worth it for me? Not in your life. Not in your life.
Yeah, do what you enjoy. Don't do this other stuff. And this is where another thing I tell entrepreneurs, and it's funny, one of the first questions, and most of the time I get the answer going, no, your processes. Like, there are things that you do, the steps that you take, helping you to understand how it integrates into your bookkeeping or whatever. But is it written down?
Oh, what was that? Written down? No, never.
Written down? Yes, because you know what? And I tell entrepreneurs at the very beginning, start writing your processes down now. First of all, it will help you identify if you're duplicating work. Second of all, you'll be able to look at it and say, okay, well, is there something I can automate it? Because if there's something that you do consistently over and over and over again with clients or potential clients, where there's stuff that you can automate. But then the cool thing is as you do that and you grow your business and you update your processes, you can take a chunk of that and say, here is your training manual. This is how we do things. Run them through the training and let the people that you hire, and that's even subcontractors, say, this is how I do things. Instead of them having to keep, you can do a bit of training and give them the manual. Otherwise, you're consistently training, which is taking time you away from doing the stuff that you enjoy and that is going to make you more money. Yeah. But if you have those processes written down and updated, they're absolutely great training manuals.
Yeah. And it's funny that you bring that
up.
That's
a big key.
So I've just changed email subscription, I guess you call it, provider. And we've had a written down system for when people buy their shift ticket, for instance. Well, with this new email provider, we're going to be able to automate it. And so, I was talking about that today with the person who helps me with that. And I went, yes, we can automate it. And so again, shrinking the time that somebody has to spend doing these things that can be easily automated. So.
And the thing is, when you're writing your processes down and you're looking at things, you can make things so much easier for people to buy things from you. When I actually implemented stuff on my website and figured out my payment system and everything else, and I was like, people were buying things before they even contacted me. I made it that easy for them. So, and even, clients get links to, if they want to book me, if they want to book some training time, and it's all, the payment processing is all in place. And it's amazing. It's like, I'm going pop up and going, oh, I have money and I have a new client. It's like, it's amazing. So you want to look at making it simple for people to buy from you.
Yeah.
Because that's all, again, your processes all connect into your bookkeeping. Exactly. So finding ways that integrate into the software that you're using, get all that reporting information in, getting the money in your bank account. Again, if you're not writing it down, you're really not paying attention to what you're doing. So that's the other big part. I always tell people, start writing it down.
Yeah, we have to
keep a notepad. Open up a document on your computer, and while you're working, it'll take you a few minutes to jot things down, but it's amazing the difference that it makes.
Yeah, and especially if you're in the process of, or if you have dreams of growing your business, and I'm to the next level or whatever it happens to be, it certainly saves you time with training. And I wish that, when I look back at my days when I had my retail store, did I have any of that written down? No. But, now I know. And it's one of the things that certainly is so important for entrepreneurs, because it does save so much time in the end.
Oh, absolutely. It's amazing how much time it saves, because when you start seeing the things that you're doing repeatedly, you can automate so much. It's crazy. I remember when I started out 30 years ago, there was no automating. You had to do everything was done by, even the bookkeeping was done by hand. I remember these big ledgers. Yep, I'm really dating myself.
You and I are about the, we've been entrepreneurs for about the same length of time. So, we've seen a lot of changes when it comes to technology and how technology can help the entrepreneurs. And even with the bookkeeping, from the manual double entry systems to, today QuickBooks or, any of the others, they're online. And
Yeah, and I think one of the important things too, which I make sure people understand when they're working with me, is what happens in the background of the accounting software, because you don't see that double entry stuff right anymore. So unless you understand what's affecting what, you can hit the button and delete something or change something, and it's like a domino effect. And if you don't understand what's happening after you do that, then you know what, there's more cleanup. I get those SOS calls going, oh, I did something and I don't know what I did.
Oh, dear. Well, anything else you want to share with the viewers today?
Don't be afraid to ask. You know what? We can't know it all. I'm always, I do have a group called Mastering Your Money on Facebook, and that's a free group, so you can ask questions there, get some tidbits, whatnot. But yeah, you know what? Don't be afraid to invest a little bit of money in knowledge in an area that you don't know about. Get comfortable and excited about talking about money, because it's a good thing. It's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
It does great things for people. And I have, it's not just teaching people about using their software. It's also teaching them, what they need to know, how, and some people don't even know what they should track. So I can help them with that as well. So anything about money and business, I'm your gal.
You're the gal, because it's right in your name, Liz M. Raymond. M for money. I thought that was so cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
For sure.
Thanks so much for sharing this time with me today. In the notes below, I'm going to put your website, which is very complicated website name, just like mine. Yours happens to be lizmraymond.com. And I understand right on that website, you can book a Get Acquainted call. So thanks so much. And again, Liz, I look forward to seeing you in 2 months. We're 2 months.
Yes, I'm excited again.
I know. Cool. All right.
I love your money.
And thanks everybody for watching this current edition of Guest Expert Talks.
Thanks again.